Good morning. This is the Board of Appeals of Town of Hempstead, November 2nd, 2022, 9:30 meeting. Will everybody please stand for the pledge? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Chairman, please give me the remarks.
Yes, as usual. We have a small crowd today, and most of the faces look familiar, so I'm not going to go into all the usual things. Quickly, what we'll do is we're going to deal with the adjournments first, and we will go through the calendar, we'll do cases, as we call the cases, just come up to the front desk here. Everybody gets sworn in, you'll give us your name and address, and then you'll tell us about the case. When the case is closed, it'll go on a decision calendar. Most cases that we hear today will be decided today, if not, it will go on a reserve or a referral calendar to be decided at some point in the future. Other than that, I really don't think I need to go into a lot more detail, considering the number of people here. If anything comes up, we'll do it along the way. Patrick?
Mr. Chairman, we have two requests for adjournment. First is case 715 through 716, 22 Franklin Square, Jennifer Krolsik. Variance of rear yard construct addition attached dwelling, special exception to maintain accessory structure, pool deck exceeding horizontal maximum 23 sides, known as 759 3rd Avenue. What's your name and address?
Scott Tyrone, 75 Albertson Avenue, Albertson, New York, 11507. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, we're here to ask for a variance, ask for an adjournment. Between the interest rate and the cost of construction, the private homeowners can't afford it, so we are scaling it back. It still will need a variance, but the plans will be revised now. We're going to go back to the examiner for a revised disapproval letter. So, if the board, I don't know how they handle dates, but the further out the date, the better.
Yes. We're just concerned with the swimming pool, but it hasn't closed yet, so at least we know that's all done properly. How much time do you think?
I spoke to the architect this morning on the way here. I was only told to come here yesterday. He is revising the plans now, and then it has to go back to the examiner. I don't know how long it's going to take if the town to revise this approval.
I doubt you're going to be able to start construction until New Year, right? Because
It's going to be a while.
Winter.
Exactly.
Well, let me do this. I mean, we have next year's calendar already set up. Why don't we bump it out far enough so that it should be enough, and if it's not, we can always adjourn it again.
Okay.
I'm looking, we have one case so far adjourned into next year. I don't know if we need the end of March, so how about February 15th?
That's fine.
All right, so we'll adjourn this to February 15 at 9:30 a.m. And since I might as well put in at that time, you will have a new chairman, because I'm leaving at the end of the year. First time I'm officially announcing.
Okay. Thank you.
Next, we have case 72022, Elmont, Basil, and Jenny Davidson. Variances, lot area occupied, front yard average setback, maintained roof over open porch, attached dwelling, known as 2182 Renfrew Avenue. Sure, name that is for the record.
Jenny Davidson, 2182 Renfrew Avenue, L1 11603.
Okay, I see we have a defective mailing here, so we need to adjourn it, January. Is it something we said? January,
January 3rd.
January 3rd.
I'm sorry, November 30th.
Okay, November
30th.
Okay,
and she just has to go straight down to the board to get her notice.
okay, so if we adjourn this to November 30th, if you go straight down to the board now, you can take care of it, and that way you can get you on the calendar as soon as possible.
Okay, thank
All right,
you.
so that's November 30 at 9:30.
And just, Patrick, so it's clear, she has to go get it, she has to get it out when?
Immediately.
Yeah, so immediately,
it
that
has to
meeting
go
out,
out.
that you pick up,
It has to go out the 3rd.
Send them out immediately.
tell her.
So you'd have to send out the mail tomorrow. Yes.
And if you don't, then you're gonna have the same problem. So get it out, I just wanted you to know the time.
Okay, so we have it November 30 at 9:30 a.m.
Thank you.
Go downstairs and see
Copy.
$1,000. Mr. Chairman, we don't have any further requests for adjournment.
Okay.
First, we have case 71722, Oceanside, Felicia Bronson. Special exception to install accessory structure, pavilion, higher and larger than permitted and exceeding horizontal maximum, known as a 476 match. You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Please take a seat, state your name and address for the record.
Andrew Braun, B-R-A-U-M, 1924 Belmore Avenue, Belmore, New York, 11710.
Morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Andrew Braun. I'm an engineer. I'm representing Felicia Brodsky at 476 Matthew Street in Oceanside for a request to install an accessory structure, which is a pavilion higher and larger than permitted and exceeding the horizontal maximum. The proposed structure is 12 foot by 16 feet, where the larger side permitted is 12 foot by 12 foot, so we were exceeding that in 4 feet. And the maximum permitted height is 9 feet, and we are proposing to be at 11 foot 2 to the highest point. The area of 144 square feet, we're requesting 192 square feet. The side yard setbacks are not requesting a variance. It's a length on one end and the height on one side.
That's your case?
Yeah, so the homeowners installed a swimming pool with an approved permit, and now they just want to install a pavilion, and they felt that 12 by 12 and the 9 foot high was a little bit too small for them, so that's why they requested it to be a little slightly larger, and we're here in front of you for that.
Look, any other questions? Oh, there is one email, but it's in favor of the for the sake of mentioning it. Do you have any other questions from the board?
Chairman, I move that the hearing be closed and the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Will be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's ready. Thank you.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or extension?
Next, we have cases 71822 through 71922, Levittown, David by special exception to maintain accessory structure, wood shed exceeding horizontal maximum, special exception to maintain a second accessory structure, plastic shed, not permitted in the side yard with less than required side yard setback, known as 22 Moss Lane.
Anybody here in that case? Second call.
lot area occupied to maintain portico, addition to roof deck, and addition to garage, all attached to dwelling. Known as 3518 Woodward Street. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and help you God?
Yes, sir.
Take a seat. State your name and address for the record.
Chris Gray, architect, 2401 Capri Place, North Belmont, New York, representing Sharon and Veronica Brintosh, located at 3518 Woodward Street, Oceanside. Good morning. Good morning. This property is located in Residence B, and we are, there were several additions that were started, so this is maintain existing, various additions around the home. So the issue that we're here for is for the building coverage. The allowable building coverage is 27.5%. The existing coverage is 31.8%, and after this work, it remains the same at 31.8%. There was a prior variance grant. It was building permit 2019-04087. At that time, there was a variance to construct the rear deck. So this footprint was already established, and then the portion of the deck was changed, was removed and changed to a one-story addition.
So basically, you're here for about 3% lot area occupied in that.
Yes, and then but the coverage was unchanged, and all these additions were within the building footprint.
But even so, it's relatively de minimis.
Yes.
So the board approved the 31.8% lot area occupied
That's correct, yes.
for a deck.
Yes.
And is that what's, so now it says 1 story. That's where the deck was.
That's correct, yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Gray, what about this pavilion, for want of a better phrase?
What's
I'm looking at the pictures that you submitted, and it looks like, I guess, like a covered patio?
it's like a shade structure.
Yeah.
No, I show on the plot plan to be removed.
Oh, okay, I didn't look at that, that's what the pictures.
Okay.
Okay.
It looks like a temporary shade structure.
All right, any objections from any of the neighbors that you're aware of?
None that I'm
I
aware
don't see
of.
anything in the file either. Okay, is there anything else that you would like to add?
No, that is my case.
Do you have any other questions from the
Will
board?
the hearing be closed and matter be placed on the decision calendar? You will receive a copy of the board's decision by mail once it is ready. Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next one, cases 72222 through 72322, Baldwin, Marie C., Jacques, Casimir. Variance, front yard average setback, maintain front addition attached dwelling, special exception to maintain accessory structure, shed higher than permitted, exceeding horizontal maximum and with less than required rear yard setback, known as the 952 standing edge. Swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Please state your name and address.
Diana Medina, 769 Road, PC. Oh, near Shaw, New York, 10805.
My name is Rolene C. Casimir. I live on 932 Station Avenue, North Broadway, New York, 11510. Good morning.
Good morning. Finally here. So happy. This has been a long road. Oh, yes. Sorry. It's been a long
You
road.
can move it down.
So, the first variance we need for seeking is for the front yard setback for what's going to be a addition. It was a porch. The homeowner is enclosing it. And the required average front yard setback is 22.56, and this has a 20.1.
And that was there on that footprint you just enclosed.
Well, yeah, exactly. The porch was there. The homeowner.
But that was the setback of the porch.
Correct. Yes. So it's seeking relief just under 2.5.
And all these other additions, they seem to have all already been done either as of right with variances that are on the site plan.
Yeah,
I see.
everything else the homeowner addressed and legalized everything. And she has one more final inspection, something she had to do with the fence around the pool. Other
And
than
then tell us about the shed.
Okay, so the shed was existing when the homeowner bought the house, and so there's 3 variances that are needed for that. The allowable height is 9 feet, this says 10.5, so 1.5 for 3 feet. The horizontal max, allowable 12 feet, existing 12.10, so just under a foot.
Okay.
And then the rear yard setback allowable 2 feet. This has an existing 1.2 feet. So again, under a foot.
And that's your case.
That's it. Sorry.
You have 2 open permits. One of them is for the rear yard shed, the other one is for the vinyl fence.
Well, that shed is just shed. This was a whole big mess up with that shed from a different excavator that I had to take over, but that's the shed. And then the
Yeah,
one
I'm
that we
looking at
just
the dates,
said,
it looked like they were 4 years old when you said it's been a long
oh
time.
my God, this has been forever. As I said, the other open permit is the one that the homeowner just addressed for that fence around here.
All right, so everything will be closed out.
Yeah, correct.
Has the fence been installed?
The fence
Was
was installed,
was
yeah.
installed and the pool, and I didn't really ask you to put
The alarm.
the alarm at the,
Oh, is it a pool fence?
Yeah, there's a pool there.
the foot there.
But the fence, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Just, I want to just clarify. So it has the fence, we have an open permit that it could have passed. In other words, this was printed on,
You know, the fence is still, that's still open because she had to change the screen of the gate. And then also,
the reason that fence matters in particular in this case is that we want to make sure the pool is
Yes,
safely
it does.
enclosed.
It does.
So when we see an open permit for a fence that's around a pool, we just want to inquire.
And it was fully there, the fence for the pool, so it's no danger, no nothing, except it's for the gate. When you open the gate, it will close by itself.
I understand. So how's that?
yeah, she addressed that and she just hasn't called for the final inspection.
That was my question, because we have a sheet here that says it's still open.
Right.
And I'd like to have that closed.
I just asked her about that. I said, did you ever call to close, get that final inspection?
No, I said I didn't get a chance to call for them to come back to do
Okay,
it.
try to do that.
All right.
Yes.
I have a question. I'm looking at the site plan, it shows the open and maintained above ground pool with a permit number 2018-20189. The search sheet, which is done in 2020, does not show an open permit for a pool, yet it's a 2018 permit number for a pool. Is it still an open permit? Have you updated the search sheet?
Look, I have to go look at my search sheet.
Okay.
Because everything that is on the plot plan, the site plan.
I understand it's on
That
there.
was what was,
Let's say.
how it currently was.
We understand that, but again, I have a search sheet from 2020, which does not include an open permit with a 2018 number for a pool. So my concern is that the pool may have a number, but it's not listed in the building department records, which in my opinion, that means I don't think it's been inspected at all.
Yeah, they inspected the pool, right?
Well, I don't have any documentation.
Yeah, I wasn't
But they-
involved with any of that, so give me a
One at a
minute, and I'll
time.
look at the search sheet that I have.
Okay. And if you have a search sheet, just tell me what they did.
I know, because I had to revise it a couple of times. you know.
Probably the same one we have.
Yeah, because of this being delayed so much.
I understand about
Yeah.
all the delays, I'm just concerned
I
about the
know,
pool.
I understand. Yeah, the last,
What's the date in the upper right?
okay, the 6/30/2020.
That's the one we
Right,
got.
okay. So, let me just, so the open,
Do you have a copy of the permit for the pool?
I wasn't involved with any.
I'm asking,
so
do you
no, I
have
do
a
not.
copy of the
No, I
permit
do
for the
not.
pool?
No, I do not. Let me just look at something.
Maybe you could go out and get in the search sheet, just since you're here. And we'll just wait a few minutes to make sure the pool is, just so we know what the status of the pool is.
We always have a concern about swimming pools, so we just want to make sure that at least there's some record there. But even if it's an open permit, it doesn't help us because we want to make sure it's closed out.
At the very least, we would know the status of the pool.
I just want to look while I'm here. real quick.
By the way, the photographs, well, she's looking at, the photographs of the addition on the front, they're not, it's not completed yet, it's got like the tie back. Is it completed now, or are you waiting for
No,
this?
I'm waiting for the permit.
Okay, did you get
Okay.
You got to stop.
One at a time.
That's what I wanted to know.
So, if I'm not mistaken, because, okay, so you see there's the open permit on the 6-foot vinyl fence, which
Correct.
is like 2916-186.
Would you mind telling us what the date of the sheet you're reading from?
Yeah, the same one, the 6/30/2020. Right? That's the one.
That's the one we have.
Right. So, which I must have updated this again because this, like I said, I refiled this. I filed it, they wouldn't take it because the shed, I had nothing to do with the shed, so then I had to update it again.
We understand.
Yeah, I know, I'm just trying to see.
Only one person can speak at a time because everything is being taken down by our reporter, so
Oh, I'm sorry.
you have to slow down a little bit.
Sorry.
She is one person, believe it or not.
I have one person, believe it or not. Right, believe it or not.
But here's the question. All we're trying to do is determine that, yes, there really is a building permit for the pool, and number two, it is going to be closed out as soon as possible. Let me ask you another question. Have you been to this property?
I was a while ago.
You've seen the pool?
Yes.
Is it self-contained so that there's no way that somebody can get into
Right,
it?
the fence is complete.
You gotta let me finish asking my
So
question.
yes, it is, yes.
You have to let me finish asking my question before you answer. All right? As long as you're telling me that the pool is contained so nobody can get into it. It's protected.
As I said, yes, there is a fence all around it.
Thank you. All right.
Okay, do you have any, let's give you a second to look through the papers if you are, are you finished looking through? Okay.
Yeah?
No, I thought you were,
Yes.
I thought we interrupted your.
No, I was
search for
looking to
something
see
you
if there was
wanted
a more updated search.
Okay.
All right. All right. Is there anything else that you would like to add?
No, but I have a question.
Okay.
Okay, would you like me to go up and get
An updated
the
search
updated
sheet
search sheet?
is not going to help us because even if it shows as an open permit, it's still has not had the final inspection. Our decision is, since you gave us a permit number, so we have that already, because it's on the site plan, we're just going to make sure that all open permits are closed out as part of this process, so that when you're done, you're completely done with everything, there'll be nothing else open.
But I think it would make sense maybe for you to check on it when you're done here, so that when she calls for her inspection of the fence, if she needs the pool final inspection also, she can get them out there for that.
Yeah, I think that the reason why both the fence and the pool are still open because the fence is enclosing that pool.
You might be right.
Right.
It might be,
So they were, and she needed to make the corrections on the fence.
I think that makes sense.
And that's
but you
why
still
they
want
kept
to-
that pool open as well. So now that she completed that, but we'll go up and check. One other quick question. Would you like for her to call for the inspection for the fence and pool prior to you, and getting that closed prior to you making your decision?
You don't have
I
to,
don't think that's-
you don't have to do the extra work. The pool has a different permit than the one that's on the
when you call the building, you need 2 permits closed. That's all I'm saying.
So, they put the different permit number on the search sheet?
Let us render our decision, and when you set up for the final inspection, you will update your search sheet to make sure that all open permits are closed. That's what you need to do. All right? Okay. Do you have any other questions from the board?
I move that the hearing be closed and the matter be placed on the decision calendar. You will both receive a copy of the board's decision as it is rendered. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Second.
Any opposed, any abstentions?
Next, we have case 72422 through 72522, Seifert, David T. Simone versus Newell. Variance front yard setback, construct second-story addition attached to dwelling, special exception to maintain second accessory structure shed, exceeding the horizontal maximum and less than the required rear yard setback, known as 2559 Nelson Drive. You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes. State your seat, state your name, and address for the record.
Kurt Jacobs, 201 Northwest Drive, Farmingdale, New York. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. David D. Simone and Christian Newell have asked me to come before you with their variance requests. They have owned that dwelling for 7 years and have 3 children. They're proposing to construct a partial second-floor addition with 3 bedrooms and a bathroom. The front yard average setback is 28.3 feet. The existing setback to the front of the house is currently 25.4 feet. We are proposing a front yard setback to the second floor construction of 24.3 feet. If you look at the radius map, every house that has setbacks noted on the radius map are greater than the subject property. For example, Lot 2 has a 30.9-foot setback. Lot 5 has a 31.1-foot setback. The existing shed, which is 10.1 foot by 12.3 feet, is 4 inches longer than the horizontal maximum required of 12 feet. The shed runs parallel with the northerly side yard with a setback of 2.4 feet. The rear property line runs angular to the rear of the shed. At the closest point, the setback is 1.2 feet, and after that point, it increases to approximately 3 feet at the widest setback point. On behalf of Mr. D. Simone and Mrs. Newell, we respectfully request the granting of this variance. Thank you.
Any questions from the board?
Mr. Chairman, I move that the hearing be closed and matter placed on the decision calendar. Mr. Jacobs will be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's ready.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, any abstentions?
Next, we have case 72622, Levittown, Ryan Stanton. Variance front yard average setback, construct a second-story addition, portico, and garage conversion to living space, all attached to dwelling, known as 107 Sprucewood Drive. Just let the record reflect these already sworn. Just your name and address.
Kurt Jacobs, 201 Northwest Drive, Hempstead, New York. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Brian Stengel has asked me to appear before you with their variance request. They have owned the house for 4 years and proposing to build a second-floor addition, garage conversion, and front portico. The existing average front yard setback is 32.37 feet. We're proposing a 24-foot setback to the second for second floor. The original house is set back 26 feet, which is 6 foot and change, not meeting the average. I'd like to hand in an older survey.
So other than the cantilever, this is over the existing first story?
Yes.
Other than the cantilever, which is causing the additional?
Yes. Also, the garage conversion, I'd like to hand in a photograph showing that they have 2 off-street parking spaces. So they won't, that's all I have is the 2 cars. As you know, Levitt, when he built his houses, staggered the setbacks to have a nicer appeal in the neighborhood rather than if you're on Franklin Square or East Meadow where the houses are lined up like postal stamps. The neighbors are aware of this project and have no objections. And 6 out of the 7 houses on the radius map have larger setbacks than the standard.
Are we accepted and next to the things that you submitted? All those that are in the survey? Okay, Mr. Jacobs, that's your case?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I don't see any objections from any of the neighbors. Do I have any other questions from the board?
Will the hearing be closed and now reflects on the decision calendar? Mr. Jacobs, will be notified on the other purposes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Second?
Second.
Any opposed to the decision?
Next we have cases 72722 through 728, near Valley Street, Ariel, Trujillo. Variances, height, lot area occupied, front yard, setback, side yard, again, construct 2-story addition, 2nd-story addition, over open porch and wood deck, all attached dwelling. Variances, lot area occupied, maintain 1-story addition with terrace above attached to dwelling. Notice 76 Halliard Road. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Okay.
Tina Pignolo, 549 Hempstead Turnpike, West Hempstead, New York, 11552. Good morning, Chairman and members of the board. I'm representing Ariel Jardel of 76 Howard Road in Valley Street. The property is located on the north side of Howard Road, 802.32 feet west of Captain's Road, the Residence B. We're requesting a variance to construct a 2-story addition, a 2nd-story addition, roof over open porch and wood deck, all attached to the dwelling, that violate the height, lot area occupied, average front yard setback, side and side yard aggregate. We're also maintaining a 1-story addition that violates the lot coverage allowed. The lot coverage for any of the existing structures to include that 1-story addition we're maintaining is 28.99%, with maximum allowed is 27.5%. The owners purchased the home in 2019, and that addition was existing at that time. The lot area, the lot coverage to include the existing area proposed would be 33.06%. The maximum height allowed is 30 feet from the crown of the road. The height proposed is 30 feet 3.5 inches, which is in line with the existing dwelling at 30 feet 3.5 inches. The average front yard setback is 29 feet, and the front yard setback provided to the porch would be 20 feet 2 inches and 26 feet to the 2nd-story addition. The side yard aggregate required is 26.7 feet, which is 30% of that 89-foot width of the lot, and the side yard aggregate proposed will be 14 feet 7 inches. The side yard required on a lot that is 89 feet is 8.9 feet. The side yard proposed on the west is 8 feet to the second-story addition and 4.7 feet to the deck. The side of the property borders Lots Creek. The Jardels have 4 children, ages 10, 8, 4, and 8 months, and an aging mother who stays with them often, and they would like to add more room to the home, a homework room for the children, a mudroom, bathroom on the first floor. The existing second floor has 4 bedrooms and 1 bath, and they would like to make a master bedroom and bath, 4 additional bedrooms and baths for the increasing size of the family. And I would like to submit letters from 6 neighbors indicating they have no objections to the board granting this variance.
What flood zone is this?
You know, it's green, it's not labeled yellow and sandy, and on the application it said, is this in a flood zone? And it said no.
It's possible because it looks like it's elevated, but it's not basement area. That is not, it's not a FEMA basement, so it's really a basement. But here's my question.
Yes.
You showed me a cellar plan here.
Right.
With 3 bathrooms. Sounds like a little bit more than a cellar.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, that's what they're, I guess, would that be up to the plan examiner if they would let them have it, or is that the board's decision?
It's not the board's decision. Basically, it just looks like it's something that can be, I mean, literally turned into not only a basement apartment, but multiple apartments.
Sure.
Because there's storage, there's things that look like it could be a bedroom with closets. I assume there's furniture fixtures there to turn it into a kitchen. The 3.25 inches, it's already there, so I don't see that as being an issue. But this basement concerns me, because it is a basement.
Sure.
Ms. Engel, can I ask, as it relates to the cellar, that's part of the construction that's not, there's 2 cellar plans, 2 things from our cellar plan. Well, one that showing reference to 3 bathrooms and other things, and then another one on the same page that has 2 bathrooms but in a different location, one in the same location. It's completely different. Does this work proposal even portions that are not, of course, include work in the cellar, I guess?
Yes, because the top one is what's existing, and then the bottom one is what they're proposing.
So that's not before, so is that all as of right, I guess? I mean, to the extent...
I guess technically, depending on, I guess, the plan examiners, you know, a lot of times they have issues with basements and bathrooms and things too.
So as the plan examiner in preparation for these cases, is that been, well, no, unless that's a plan for later, has that been before the plans examiner, the portion, the cellar changes?
Yes, this is part of the application.
Right, but I mean, this cellar plan, the change plan to the cellar was part of the plans you submitted for this case.
Yes.
I know they're here on my file, but you understand what I'm asking?
Yes.
So they must have passed on it and found there to be no variances required.
Right, but I don't know if when it goes back up, they might feel that it's too much, not a zoning issue, but just that, like, sometimes they'll tell us to take down walls in the basement and things like that, so I don't know if this necessarily will be approved by the plan examiner.
I would have thought that analysis would already occurred as part of the review of the plans.
I know sometimes when it goes back up, they'll look at things more closely.
I see. So right now they're just the industry review. Sometimes they just are concerned with the physical structure and its relevance to variance, and then they go independent. I didn't know that.
That's assuming that you get the variance. I think that's what
Correct. Of course.
Why make you do that if you don't get the variance?
Right, I think that's why sometimes they'll look at the zoning and then when it comes up, then they'll say you can inside issues, maybe.
So to the height, I was surprised that a 2-story house would need a height variance.
It's actually showing the original house to be 30 feet, 3.5 inches as well.
Okay, I just can't, the writing on small, but it's also like the printer that I need. I can't see what the crown is at. Can you read what the crown is at? I don't think so. This, you know, it's like the printer was at the Crown Road 78.
I don't even see that
Well,
on here.
I mean, I see stylistically what we're trying to achieve, but I'm just not clear on why that can be done without a variance for height. 3 feet. 3.5 feet shorter. Because even if the crown's at 8, you're starting, your finish was for 14. Is that right? 14, that's what I read it.
Yeah, these are so hard
You
to
see,
read.
well, the writing is like spotty on that. I'm just on that, not on the number.
So the crown of the road is bigger, 30 feet is required, and they're 3.5 inches above that. And it's in line with the original house, is what the architect has here.
More significantly larger, the way it's constructed. I mean, right now, 33.5 is simply a single ridge, right? Versus the proposal is a ridge, but it's like, if you look at the comparison, that's a significantly greater intrusion into the height. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a request to put a whole lot more material at that height than is currently there. You're looking at this. You see what I'm saying?
So you think it appears to be more than 3.5 inches?
No, I'm saying the amount of material, so to speak, that would be intruding on the 3.5 feet, 3.5 inches, I'm sorry, is significantly greater. There's only a point of the house currently that intrudes into that space. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Which is this point here?
On the existing structure.
Oh, on the existing structure?
It's simply the little point of the house, right? That on the proposed structure, it's a giant roof all the way across the wall. Look at what goes above the height line is this tiny piece. In this one, the whole thing goes above the height. See what I'm saying?
Okay, this piece here, and then this is showing these two that are across the height line. Is that what you're saying? I'm sorry.
I don't know how else to ask you. It's just that the argument that the house already has an encroachment. The encroachment is this little tiny tip of the house,
Right.
versus the proposed encroachment, which runs all the way. Look how much the encroachment is. Just visually.
I understand it. I'm sorry. I apologize. I understand what you're saying. It's not just this tip now. It's
Yeah, I mean, just I'm
right.
saying, it's not that synonymous. It's to just say the house already goes into that space, because there's barely any material that is encroaching versus on the proposal, there's a whole lot more encroachment. It may be acceptable. I'm just pointing out that it's somewhat more significant,
Okay, I understand. I'm sorry. I see what you're saying. Of course, it's not just that peak of the original, it's the existing, the new work that they're going to do as well.
Yeah, and in addition to the substantial change.
Sure. Yes.
It may be diminished in the height amount, but it's visually and structurally a much more significant structure.
Yes, I apologize for not understanding that.
I didn't know how to. How many people is there? How many people in this family? You said
Four children, the mom, the dad, instead of any aging mom who stays with them often.
Sorry, just let me go back. I just need to see your proposal is 33%, it's 9,000 square foot.
Was there anything else that you would like to add?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Any other questions from the board?
With the hearing is closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar, Ms. Gallo, and notified by mail.
Thank you very much.
Second. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right. We have that second call. Patrick, this is Chris Ross's case. So we'll adjourn. The case that we have on second call, which is 718 and 719 of 22, we're going to contact the representative of the applicant since nobody was here objecting and see if he can make it here this afternoon. If he cannot, then we'll adjourn it again to a future date. Okay, that completes the morning calendar. Very short break, and then we will go back to the decisions, administrative, and everything else. Shall we? All right, today's case, first case, 7:15 and 7:16 of 24 Franklin Square, Jennifer Pursuant, 759 3rd Avenue, Franklin Square, is adjourned to February 15 at 9:30 a.m. 7:17 of 22 in Oceanside, Felicia Brodsky, 476 Matthew Street, Oceanside. Any discussion? If not, do I have a motion?
Make a motion for case 7/17/2022. Felicia Brodsky is the applicant for property address at 476 Matthew Street, Oceanside.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Cases 718, 719, 22 London, David Beam. 22 Moss Lane, Levittown is second call for the 2 o'clock calendar today. 720, 22 Elmont, Basil and Jenny Davidson. 2182 Renfrew Avenue, Elmont, has been adjourned to November 30 at 9:30 a.m. 721 and 22 Oceanside, Sharon and Veronica Brintash. 3518 Woodward Street in Oceanside. Any discussion? If not, do I have a motion?
And then case 721 of 22, Oceanside, 3518 Woodward Street,
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Next case is 722 and 723, 22 is Baldwin. Marie C. and Jack Casimir, 932 Stanton Avenue in Baldwin. We just want to make sure on this one that all the open permits stay closed out, even the ones that aren't on the search sheet. And is there any other discussion? Not? Do I have a motion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I will move cases 722 of 2022 and 723 of 2022. As you previously described them, that you will not be located at 932 Stanton Avenue in Baldwin. You have requested caveat, as always, that all of the permits be closed.
Second. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Cases 724 and 725 and 22 in Seaford. David E. Simone and Kristen Ewald. 2559 Nelson Drive, Seaford. Any discussion? If not, do I have a motion?
I move that case 724, 725, and 2022, David D. Simone and Kristen Ewald at 2559 Nelson Drive in Seaford be granted as requested.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? 726 and 22 Levittown, Brian Stable. 107 Sprucewood Drive, Levittown. Any discussion? If not, do I have a motion?
I move case 726 of 2022, property located at 107 Sprucewood Drive, Levittown, be granted as requested.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Next case is 727 and 728 of 22 Deer Valley Street. 76 Halyard Road, Deer Valley Street. Any discussion? Does anybody want to look at this one, or somebody can take a look at it? Okay, that takes care of the one in the calendar. Let's go to the reserve calendar. Patrick? Robert, tell us where we are.
First, we're still holding MCRT. As for 645 Safe Club, I was directed by the board to put together a draft for this one night. I had confusions, though, because the main concerns on this was, if the board recalls, there was apartment buildings on top of what was a garage. And the main concern was that the staircase was going to be almost like a motel-style outside staircase leading to the rear, ingress and egress to the rear of the structure. So the problem was, number one, the stairs on the exterior, and number two, the deck on the outside which overlooked the neighbor. The new plans that were submitted had interior stairs and no rear deck. So,
Do we do the draft? Then is that the question?
I would say approved according to the new plans.
That's, it's absolutely fine.
Motion to accept the revised plans.
I move that case 409-2022 on Baldwin, 645 St. Court, at 645 St. Luke's Place be granted. Be granted in accordance with the amended plans that were received by the board dated
Last revised October 21, 2022.
last revised October 21, 2022.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Abstention.
Any opposed? One abstention. All right. Next case, we have.
Yes, I do have a draft ready. Dash matter. I do apologize. I'm once again late to the crazy couple of weeks, as you can imagine. On this one, there's two decisions on this. First is the fence, normal fence conditions. It's in the clear side triangle. It has an open design already, just maintaining that capacity. As for the other conditions for the center as for the other conditions I included, no parking overnight vehicles. There were signs the board wanted to be included, just only 2 spaces on the actual property, to other detached parking lot down the block. I also included all conditions previously granted. The 2000 conditions still hold unless directly contradicted by this grant. None of those conditions was the grant directly contradict any of the previous grants, but in perpetuity it would be useful. Those I've seen. And I said secret grant as well, dressing.
Did you make temporary the stuff in the clear side triangle?
Yes. So there's 2 decisions. This is the fence part of the decision. It's temporary for 5 years until 2027, and everything the clear side triangle is included as well, keeping an open design because it is a wrought iron fence with the brick pillars.
Yeah, we need to see visibly.
Well done, Mr. Baldwin. Thank you.
Does somebody want to make a motion to adopt all 3 of the proposed?
We don't need a motion to adopt this. We just need a motion to adopt the decision which contains
There are
the
3
secret
separate.
determination.
There are 3 separate drafts. First one is the secret.
Mr. Chairman, I will make a motion as it relates to case 546, 2022 through case 549, 2022, that the board adopt the 3 decisions drafted by council and drafted by council, reviewed by the board as to each of the one for each of the cases.
Second. All in favor?
I abstain.
Any opposed? 1 abstention. Okay.
Walking the phone that we're still waiting on. The last one I got a response from.
This is 590.
Yeah, 592 and 593, Hewlett, Stephen Leahy. The inspectors came back to me and essentially corroborated the entirety of the story that was done during testimony. As the board knows, the previous survey was incorrect. If you look, he actually has the previous surveys in here. It was a square parcel. This is not a square parcel. But when they did the inspections, they found that this resubmitted site plan is a true and accurate depiction of what is actually the property. The one thing he did make a distinction about is on the plans, at Exhibit 3, in the corner, these are the tiny site plan, that still is a perfect square and not correct. So I do believe that any condition included in this should say, or when we're citing to Exhibit 3, that the site plan on that shall be as opposed to Exhibit 1, which is this one, not the one that's depicted on Exhibit 3. That's the only.
Do you want to do that? You want? That's okay. I move that case 592, 593 of 2022, Stephen Lay at 325 Serena Road in Hewlett be granted with the verification that Mr. Vogel just put forward.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention?
That's all I have on this one.
All right. Next case in Elmont. Mr. Regano, you get a chance to look at this one? Okay. Next one is Oceanside. Is anybody going to be looking at this one?
Isn't that the one that we have the building department going down on? We
No,
have
the last
it's
one.
about the family.
The last one. 554.
Yeah, the 554, I did actually contact the inspectors. They are sending someone out. They confirmed. Yeah, they confirmed via email.
Remember, Mrs. D'Amato's talking about that.
667. 667.
We'll have
around 6:30, we received a letter from Michelle Casalino stating that they would be willing, it's just in the letter, they'd be willing to drop it from 36 feet, 34 feet, although it needs to be, we need a resubmitted site plan that needs to be inspected by the building department. We just got to that.
I will say that I took a look at that. I want to review the plans again, and I need more time to go through the chart that's submitted by the applicant. I want to go back through that chart that she provided us at the hearing. I didn't have enough time last week to do that.
Keep that on hold on reserve. Okay. All right, referral calendar, there should be no changes on that. All right, administrative.
We have 3 extensions of time.
This.
As far as I know, they're not. So this one's currently a legal litigation, which might be another reason why they're taking their time.
There are 3 extensions of time. There was one case that was granted 7/13/2022.
They're all just secure permits.
There you go.
So it's fine. Did that though? Because one's maintained, so we got to read that.
Yes.
So 2 are the secure permits to construct, which maybe is less concerning because of obviously the fact that we don't have one finished construction. The one that's a maintained secure permits, says that one.
Yes.
What does it say right away? Is that for Belmont or something?
Yeah.
What was the request?
Request was the parking, they had that,
Maintain.
that's the freezer.
Hold on, special exception, maintain deck for outdoor dining, and parking in the front yard setback on option. And the variance in off-street parking is insufficient stall size. Well, what would you hold up there?
They were trying to sell the property, and
You think they would even more want to get this permit?
I don't know what happened.
Because it's a
I
maintained.
just remember the case, that's all.
Why?
What reasons did they give on the sheet?
Just says secure permit.
Yeah, that's it?
Yeah.
Reason for request, don't know. Literally said don't know.
Agent with that.
I mean, I'm not opposed to it, but it just, no,
You can
no.
have them come back.
No, I don't think it's worth that. Yeah, no, I don't think it's,
And
a
it's
big
still
issue
closed
is just,
as far as I know.
you know, like, if you want to sell it, you got the brick variance, and there's no work to be done, it's just maintained.
It's covered.
Make the motion.
Yeah.
Okay, I move that case 464, 465, Henrietta Apple, that they be granted a 1-year extension of time to secure permits.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay.
Then we have case number 185, 186, 2020 to Isaiah Moultrie et al. To construct.
Now this is where the request is based on that they're waiting for a New York State something. Okay, let's go dormitory permit. Everything else is complete, so that seems to be a reasonable request.
Season number 3, multifamily, yeah, 5-story multifamily. So they did meet the New York State Supreme Court.
A motion to grant an extension on that?
I move that case 185, 186, 2020 Isaiah Moultrie et al. To construct their addition for reasons that they need more government approval.
Second.
Second.
1-year extension.
Second. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right. Last one.
The last one is case number 683.
Mazipta Chalet.
This is also the secure permits.
This is an extensive time to secure permits.
It had no prior 22 kids.
religious educational use, and it was granted in 11/17/21.
7/13/22. First time.
I move that case 683 be granted a 1-year extension of time
Second.
to secure their permits.
Opposed, abstentions, okay. What else did you should do? That's it? That's all I have.
I have one more thing, it's small. So I was notified on a recent case that we approved, the Center for Jewish Life. The first condition does not apply to the fence, applies to the structure itself. I usually have a condition that says that the structure is to be reserved only for the use of the religious organization. This one's distinct in which the second floor of this structure actually has apartments that were presented at the hearing that are being maintained. So just a motion to change condition 1 to permit them to have people on the second floor.
Or we'll just look at the for
Exactly, so the religious use, yes. So I actually wrote the first floor of the subject property may only be used for blah, blah, blah. This condition shall not be presented without the applicant will continue to rent out the second floor as well.
If they're renting out the second floor as office space, they lose the religious use of that the property tax.
Do you want me to qualify that?
I would just like it very, clear that religious use is only for the first floor.
Okay.
No problem.
And do I need to speak to the Mr. Chairman, as it relates to case 2620 of 2022, Marion Center for Jewish Life, located at 2174 Hewlett Avenue, I move that we modify condition 1, which previously, condition 1,
There's a reason because they now are putting everything under one case number. So offenses, which usually I can do in a separate decision, need to be all in one.
Okay.
So for this case, I had the first part was temporary, the second part permanent. Yeah, I don't see the reason.
So, first, condition 1 pertaining to the special exception to expand the existing daycare. I move that we modify that condition to preclude religious use, to allow religious use only on the first floor and no religious use allowable on the second floor.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed, abstentions. That's all I have. Patrick, that's it? That's all I have. All right, 2 o'clock, folks. There's only a couple of cases, almost, maybe 3 probably.
This is a subdivision in which there is currently litigation pending as to a adverse possession in the rear yard. There's about a 200 square foot parcel on the rear yard that's currently litigated. They would Christian Brown petition that they can rule on it. I think it changes the entire arithmetic as to whether or not the parcel is 4,000 square feet. It was a requested subdivision.
It's revoked on my operations in the event that their contract goes to be independent.
So they have one lot with the neighbor next to these lots of trying to subdivide. He's testing that